From KPIX Channel 5, this is Eyewitness News at 10.
Hi there, everybody. I'm Bill Schechner.
And I'm Marcia Brandwynne. Dave and Anna have the night off tonight. Fireworks lighting up the sky tonight in cities all around the Bay Area. It is a star-spangled celebration of America's 219th birthday.
Fun, and we have a series of live reports from all around the Bay. Thuy Vu is along the San Francisco waterfront. Doug Murphy's in the Oakland Hills, where firefighters are on high alert. Len Ramirez is in San Jose at one of the Bay Area's largest celebrations. Thuy, let's start with you.
Well, Bill, thousands upon thousands of people packed San Francisco's waterfront today, and you hear them cheering still, and they got their reward, a spectacular fireworks show that capped a fun-filled day. Fireworks right now. It was a wonderful day. We have some comments from some of the people who came up to see the fireworks today. Let's roll that tape.
Every year's been great. So, fantastic.
Having a good time?
Great time.
Why don't you guys get out here?
We got here just a little after 12. So you get set up and beat the rush, you know.
The winds may have been a little chilly, but still nice enough for a snooze under a cap and a blanket. There was plenty of warm spirit and spirits of the other sort.
Australian sangria.
What is that exactly?
Lots of alcohol, red wine, lemonade, touch of fruit, just a touch of fruit.
Just a touch and a whole lot of alcohol.
That's the way to make it.
The food was easy to find, and so was the music. And if you got bored with listening to music, you could just watch the spectacular waterfront view and the boats. Security on the water was tight.
U.S. Park Service has a strong presence here. They've got a Zodiac here in the water. They have 2 officers detailed to that, in addition to their usual patrol, mounted patrol, and so forth.
Now, it's one thing to be a reveler, but who knows all the lines to the Star-Spangled Banner?
Oh, say, can you see?
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed
at the twilight's last gleaming.
And the rockets will flare.
Try again. Took a lot of searching, but we found them. 2 gals who knew the song from beginning.
Oh, say, can you see?
To end.
And the home of the brave.
Now, those girls definitely get an A+. The fireworks ended shortly before 10, and as you can see all around me, people are still sticking around. Not really ready to leave just yet, but all in all, it was a holiday filled with family, fun, and friends. Reporting live from Aquatic Park, I'm Thuy Vu. Bill, Marcia, back to you.
Thuy, I think you're giving them what they want, and they all turn out. Thanks a lot.
I think so.
Thanks, Thuy. Well, this 4th of July isn't just about celebration. Fireworks are already being blamed for blazes all over the Bay Area. One of the biggest broke out late this afternoon. It threatened homes in South San Francisco. Fire scorching about 50 acres on Sign Hill. The smoke could be seen for miles. Firefighters had a very hard time containing the fire because of the high winds and fog. Investigators tell us the fire was started by juveniles believed to be playing with fireworks. And fire started by fireworks is a big concern for firefighters in the Oakland Hills tonight, and that is why they are on high alert. Doug Murphy has spent the night with them, and he joins us live with more. Doug?
Marcia, we're at Engine 25. It's one of the key stations up here in the Oakland Hills, handling that crucial wildland interface with Oakland. Usually a very busy night here, but about 15 minutes ago, one of the crews rolled out of here, to a lawn fire at Merritt College. That was their first call of the night. They're back. It's handled. Most of the calls tonight have been in the flatlands, and that is very good news. But firefighters here were waiting, and they were ready. The Oakland Fire Department took no chances tonight. Every call was an immediate and large response. The report of a fireworks-related grass fire brought units to Chambers in the Oakland Hills. This time, the fire was small and quickly handled.
There was report that there was some popping sounds in 2 different locations, but the neighbors were able to get together and put it out before we get here.
If you don't catch something like that, what's the potential?
Well, you can see what the potential would be. Right now, we're lucky the wind's not blowing. It's a quiet day, but if the wind was blowing, there'd be a greater potential for the fire to spread.
The day's first fireworks fire burned about a half acre late in the afternoon on Ransom. Fire investigators say the probable cause was kids playing with fireworks.
Range 25, T4 at their location.
We're looking for fireworks, especially today being the 4th of July, and any other suspicious fires, any kind of smoke.
Engine companies took their patrols to the streets today, cruising the hills, looking not only for fires, but for people using fireworks.
Citizens willing to turn in fireworks, we will accept those. If we see active firework activity, we turn that over to the police department. So we're trying to suppress and educate and control.
The weather the last few days and today, low temperatures and light winds, was a real break for fire crews, keeping the fire danger level at moderate. But now, during the night hours, is the prime time for concern.
Most of the firework activities, we have injuries, fingers, hands being blown off and injured, facial injuries, roof fires from bottle rockets, grass fires, those sort of things. So we're prepared to address all those.
But fortunately, that just hasn't materialized tonight. One of the quietest 4th of Julys lately on record. But the 4th of July is just really the start of it. The fuel up here in the hills is absolutely incredible, and it is very dry, thick and dry. And the fire season here, the fire danger really lasts all the way through October. So maybe it's a good start to it, but it's going to be a long summer. That's a story in Oakland Hills. I'm Doug Murphy. Bill, Marcia, back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Doug.
Let's keep going with the 4th, but let's look at it from a different perspective. You know, if nothing else, America is diverse. It is the root of much trouble, but it is also the root of much strength. And either way, it's one of the things we are. It's also the theme tonight in San Jose, where not only is Len Ramirez live, but the fireworks are about to start. Len?
Well, the fireworks are on here in downtown San Jose. Thousands and thousands of people are jammed into Guadalupe River Park, elbow to elbow, to see tonight's spectacular fireworks show. But more than that, everyone here coming together proves that this melting pot that is America, all the ingredients can still blend together. It is more than a celebration of America's birthday. It's a celebration of what our nation has become. At the San Jose America Festival, the red, white, and blue are joined by all colors under the sun.
I wouldn't say clash, but it is culture. Because anywhere I look, anywhere I turn, I'm not threatened by bombs being dropped on me, but I'm always grateful to say that, yeah, I live in San Jose, I live in America. Hey, it's great to have an Independence Day like this.
What began 5 years ago as a 4th of July fireworks extravaganza has slowly evolved into a 4-day festival showcasing San Jose's diversity. And music is only the beginning. You can just about taste your way around the world as well.
I think it teaches both my children and everyone else to be able to get along with each other. I think it's splendid. I think it's great.
With tonight's fireworks show, close to 200,000 people will come together in downtown San Jose. And since past festivals have been virtually trouble-free, organizers say it proves one other point, that we can all still get along.
San Jose is the most ethnically diverse city in the United States and one of the safest cities. So we're able to bring all this stuff together and people kind of mix and mingle and have a great time.
And we're back live now in San Jose with the fireworks show still going on. And if it's all right with everyone, I think I'll just stop talking and let you see the fireworks live.
Whoops.
Oh.
Oh.
Come on, the grand finale.
One more. Whee!
Len Ramirez, the first TV reporter in memory to give way voluntarily. Thanks, Lenny.
That's really nice. And it's nice. It makes you feel good to think that they had such a wonderful celebration. in San Jose. The Bay Area isn't the only place where the skies were lit up tonight. One of the most spectacular sights this year, New York City. There's not too much, many words to describe this show, so we're going to have the pictures do the talking here as well. And here's a look at the festivities tonight in the nation's capital, where, as they do every year, the fireworks showcase the monuments. It's quite a sight. We only got to see a little of that. Well,
it was quite, take our word for it. Much more news to cover with tonight, including the latest on the Unabomber case. We are going to get serious. And the Berkeley professor who responded today to a letter he got from the Unabomber.
Also, the shuttle Atlantis is unplugged, you might say. You'll see the spectacular pictures from outer space.
More firework replays, by the way, later in weather. Also, they were snow skiing in the High Sierra on this July 4th, and fresh snow in the Colorado Rockies. Weather later.
But first, a man is killed in broad daylight moments after taking money out of an automated teller machine. We'll have the details on this story coming up next on Eyewitness News.
Live, local, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
San Francisco police say they have caught the killer who stabbed a man to death just after he had finished using an automatic teller machine. Yesterday, a 50-year-old man had just taken money out of the machine when he was approached by a panhandler. He refused to give up his money, so the suspect followed the victim to this motel at Geary and Larkin. That's when police say he attacked.
Spectators in the area just couldn't take it anymore. It was such a gruesome scene. The victim's only about 5'4", the guy's about 5'10", 220, and they just decided to get involved, thank goodness. And they began to shout at him. One guy ran over and kicked him. He backed off and threatened the crowd with a knife. You want some of this, in a threatening manner? You can have some. And then as the crowd began to polarize, he retreated for the second time and made his escape, but he was followed by 2, maybe 3 different persons.
The victim was stabbed about 15 times. The suspect in custody, 35-year-old Paul Jefferson, he was recently released on parole after serving time on robbery and narcotics charges. Tonight, the FBI is watching and waiting for a new response from the Unabomber. Their actions follow an open letter that appeared in today's San Francisco Chronicle. That letter was written by a UC professor who himself received a message from the Unabomber. We get more now from Tony Russomanno.
The Unabomber and the psychologist writing letters to one another. Could there be anything more professionally appealing to UC Berkeley psychology professor Tom Tyler than to continue the dialogue started by the Unabomber and get inside the elusive serial bomber's mind? Could there be anything more dangerous?
It could backfire if Unabomber perceives the professor as working with law enforcement.
San Francisco State University criminology professor Mike Rustigan says Tyler should continue the dialogue, but should not agree to any demands the Unabomber might make. In an open letter published in the Chronicle, Professor Tyler complimented the Unabomber on his ideas and encouraged him to write again by suggesting that a group be formed to encourage social change. Tyler wrote, "That group could change society by showing people a better way to live their lives. Do you have thoughts about how such a group could be formed? Who should be on it?" Professor Rustigan says he thinks the Unabomber will respond to this friendly, intellectual approach.
I think he's looking for someone to understand him. I think the Unabomber is craving some intimacy. And I think that this kind of dialogue can be very constructive, as long as Unabomber does not see the professor as part of law enforcement.
So far, UC Berkeley campus police say there has been no new word from the Unabomber. Professor Tyler is not at home and his phone is ringing unanswered. But he's not the only one trying to contact the Unabomber.
Hi, this is Bob Guccione.
Bob Guccione, the publisher of Penthouse magazine, has offered to print the Unabomber's manifesto and is appealing to him via the internet. Of course, the violently anti-computer Unabomber would need a computer to see Guccione's appeal, and a computer connection, like a phone call, can be traced.
It could well be that when Unabomber is apprehended, he's apprehended by means of a computer. I mean, this would be the ultimate irony, that in all of Unabomber's railings against high technology, it might be high technology that leads to his arrest.
The UC Berkeley campus is closed for the holiday tonight, but campus police are continuing to go over mailroom procedures for dealing with packages which may include a bomb from the Unabomber, even as Professor Tyler awaits another letter from him. In Berkeley, Tony Russomanno, Channel 5 Eyewitness News at 10.
And tomorrow, the Federal Aviation Administration, along with postal authorities and the FBI, are scheduled to meet, and they will discuss the tightened security at West Coast airports and also at post offices.
It really is quite remarkable, this emerging dialogue, and it's tempting to speculate about why people are saying what they are. We're going to leave that to you. But in case you're confused, maybe it'll help to trace how we got to this point in the Unabomber case, in the words of those who are involved.
May 5th. After 17 years, 16 bombings, 3 deaths, and who knows how many articles, the Chronicle publishes yet another. Its premise, the Unabomber and the Oklahoma City bombers share the same fear of the loss of individual freedom. Among those quoted, UC Professor Tom Tyler, who seems ready to take Unabomber seriously. He says, whether it's the technological elite or the government, it's the same basic idea, a kind of secret, all-powerful group that's controlling people's lives. Last Friday, June 30th, Professor Tyler received what amounts to an answer. The 56-page article from the bomber and a letter complaining that analysts have been too quick to say the bomber is a crippled personality. Unabomber writes, "The trouble with psychiatrists is that in commenting on what people say or do, they often concentrate exclusively on the non-rational motivations behind the speech or behavior. But human behavior has a rational as well as an irrational component, and psychologists should not neglect the rational component." Today, July 4, in another interview, Tyler responds, again, understandingly. He says, "The bomber's saying, how come, if a person is unhappy, you, the psychologist, say there's something wrong with him? Before you consider there's something wrong with him, you should consider that maybe the problem is in society, and that is a very reasonable request on his part." Also today, Professor Tyler releases his open letter to the bomber. It goes further. It requests a dialogue. Tyler writes, "You argue that industrial technology cannot be reformed. Here, I am less certain that I agree. People are finding many ways to change their lives in positive ways."
So the next reply is up to the bomber. We have not been in quite this place in dealing with a terrorist before in this country. It's what it amounts to an ideological chess game, and it's being played out in the midst of a big manhunt. Stay tuned. And before we leave all of this, it would be wrong to omit the Unabomber hotline number. It is on your screen, 1-800-701-BOMB. The FBI, as you probably know, is offering a $1 million reward for information leading to the arrest of the Unabomber.
Well, this July 4th, special meaning for the people of Oklahoma City. Today, they remembered the victims of the April bombing and the volunteers who risked their lives in the days afterwards. And now, almost 3 months later, Oklahoma City is trying to move on. Vicki Mabry reports.
After 76 days, official mourning in Oklahoma City has ended.
Today, we restore our flags to their rightful place.
Today at 9:02 a.m., the exact time of the blast, flags again flew high and proud over a city that has endured much and grown stronger.
I don't think we'll ever be able to let it go, but hopefully we can go forward. But I don't think we can ever just forget it.
Since the day after the bombing, flags have flown at half-staff around the city, constant reminders of pain and tragedy. But the governor chose this day to end the period of sorrow.
Independence Day has a special meaning for all of us this year, and so does our flag.
In the week since the bombing, there have been ceremonies honoring the victims, the survivors, the rescue workers, and today the volunteers. And while these are important events, a lot of people here are looking forward to the day when the public commemorations are over. Among those hoping for the end is Anitra Smiley, one of the few victims still in the hospital. She faces months of physical therapy, but feels it's time to heal the emotional scars of that day.
I've already had the anger, the anxiety, all those things, so now it's time to move on.
Oklahoma City plans a memorial park on the federal building site. And while there may be no more ceremonies until then, there's still plenty to remind people of the tragedy, the criminal investigation, followed most likely by a lengthy trial. Vicki Mabry, Oklahoma City.
That was a serious segment, the one coming up a little bit less so. Want to find out about the richest person in the world? Who is it? Here's a clue. He's a guy well known in Silicon Valley.
Also, did the big crackdown on illegal fireworks in San Francisco's Chinatown pay off? We will have the answer in a live report coming up next, right here on Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. Tonight, San Francisco police say their crackdown on illegal fireworks in Chinatown has paid off. Over the past couple of days, as you'll recall, 2 tons of illegal fireworks have been confiscated by police, and tonight they say you can see and hear the difference. Well, let's check in with Wendy Hanamura in Chinatown and find out. Is it true, Wendy?
Well, Bill, down here in Chinatown, police say it has been relatively quiet all day and all night long. And that's good news, because this is usually the busiest day of the year as everyone tries to unload all their goods before the end of the 4th of July. But police say that their patrols have made this 4th something of a fireworks stud.
This is what I just snagged within the last hour.
A few more boxes of explosives that won't hit the streets tonight.
This is a mortar-like that shoots flaming balls out of a tube called Ninja. That'll go for about maybe $20 on this pack. The stuff comes from China, so it's gonna be here. It's not sold anywhere else. You won't find it over the city of Concord. You won't find it down in San Mateo. You'll find it here in Chinatown, San Francisco.
This year, you'll find much less of it. Police have confiscated more than 4 tons of fireworks this month alone. And last night, they made their biggest seizure of the year. Close to 3,000 pounds of bottle rockets and mortars in this South of Market warehouse. Police say the owner was selling the explosives from behind the counter of his Chinatown gift shop. Her son has been arrested on 2 felony counts of illegal weapons and explosives. Police say he was selling a brick of firecrackers like this one for $75. It runs $2 in China, about $20 here on the streets.
For him, it was a vast profit.
In Chinatown this evening, uniformed police are acting as a deterrent, driving the young black marketeers to desperate acts, according to this tourist.
I saw like 15 guys run up in baggy clothes, and they had boxes, and they just busted them open and started selling them out. They're like bricks, 20 bucks, skyrockets, just really spontaneous, really fast.
Merchants say they are glad to see the police, especially to oversee the young runners on every corner.
The kids are so young, only 9 years old, you know. This is a tourist city. Otherwise, people feel Chinatown is not secure. They won't come in, will kill our business.
But tonight, most tourists weren't even aware of the furious fireworks trade around them.
I don't think I want to be here when it turns dark, because that's just the feeling I have. But other than that, I feel safe right now.
Police say that tourists should feel safe down here in Chinatown. There's no place in San Francisco tonight with more police officers on the street. And you may be wondering what the police are doing with all those confiscated fireworks, 2 tons of them, 4 tons of them all told. Well, they have turned them over to the bomb squad, and the bomb squad will be blowing them up. Reporting live in San Francisco, I'm Wendy Hanamura.
Wendy, would you turn around and tell us what that was, please?
Sounded like a big barrel bomb to me.
Okay.
That's
quiet, but not totally quiet.
That's one that snuck through the barricade.
Thank you, Wendy Hanamura in Chinatown.
Oh, scary. All right, tonight police in Dublin are looking for a different type of fireworks bandit, one posing as a good Samaritan. And he was really young. They say a boy between the ages of 12 and 15 may have gotten away with thousands of dollars from this fireworks stand. According to witnesses, the boy was hanging around the stand offering to help out, and since it was a busy day, nobody noticed anything missing until it was too late. That's when they called the police, and so far they have not found him.
More 4th of July news. Up in Sonoma, crowds filled the streets for an old-fashioned kind of celebration. Many folks come to Sonoma because they enjoy the charm of the small town, down-home patriotic festivities. Neat. Every year, people in the community are the real stars of the parade, marching bands to young musicians. Samba dancers? Well, why not? Spice up the parade a little bit. You can bet there was something for everybody, young and old.
Little carnival there. We have a lot more coming up. Remarkable pictures from outer space of the shuttle Atlantis getting unplugged.
And also how hundreds of people fought for this man's job and won.
But first, did Great Britain's leader survive a crucial test of his power? We'll have a report coming up next on Eyewitness News.
By members of Parliament in Westminster.
British Prime Minister John Major has scored a major political victory. Today, he defeated a Conservative challenger in Parliament. And tonight, his supporters say Major's victory ends one of the darkest episodes of Conservative Party history. Rob Reynolds has more from London.
When the bells of Big Ben struck 5, the voting closed. And a short time later, the result was announced.
For John Major, 218. For John Redwood, 89. Abstained, 8. Spoiled, 12. I declare John Major elected.
Challenger John Redwood strode out of the Parliament building to concede.
I warmly congratulate John Major on his victory in the leadership election. He won fair and square under the rules.
Prime Minister John Major said he'd won a convincing victory.
I believe that has put to rest any question and any speculation about the leadership of the Conservative Party up to and beyond the next general election.
Major's supporters called for the party to unite behind the Prime Minister.
We now have to get together as a united party. Party and the party in the country will be very intolerant now of people who start to go on sniping at the Prime Minister after he's clearly won.
But Major's total, while enough to stay on as party leader and Prime Minister, was not as large as he and his backers had hoped for. And some Conservative MPs said the result left Major weaker than ever.
I think in many ways, as a loyal Conservative, the result is almost the worst that we could have, because it's not decisive. The Prime Minister did not get the huge, overwhelming support that he wanted when he called this election.
The outcome of this political fight is unlikely to resolve and may even worsen the basic divisions within the Conservative Party. John Major may have survived this round, but it's likely he'll take more punching in the future. Rob Reynolds, London.
He is expected to redesign his cabinet, and he will probably lead the Conservatives into the national elections, which must be held by April of 1997.
Let's do some more of the world news now. 60 American high school students were injured in a bus accident today. It happened in Bangor, Wales, when their 2 tour buses collided on a wet, hilly roadway. None of the kids were seriously hurt. They represent a youth group called People to People. They're from St. Louis, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and Houston, Texas. There may soon be peace in Israel's Gaza Strip. Today, Foreign Minister Shimon Peres and PLO leader Yasser Arafat issued a joint statement that they will sign an accord. An agreement would expand greater Palestinian self-rule on the West Bank. The two hope to conclude it by July 25th. U.S. Secretary of State Warren Christopher is offering to host the signing agreement in Washington, D.C.
And from the world to out of this world, tonight they are going their separate ways. The Space Shuttle Atlantis and the Space Station Mir undocked today after 5 days in outer space. Scott Pelley has the details and some amazing pictures.
Go for separation.
For Atlantis, this was truly Independence Day.
Houston, we have separation.
The shuttle pushed slowly away from the Russian station.
Atlantis, it's been an inspiring visit with our neighbors in space.
As cosmonauts in a third spacecraft recorded the departure.
What a great time, what a great effort.
We're seeing an incredible view of the Mir space station passing over South America.
As Mir slipped away, Atlantis could count the milestones. First docking between the nations in 20 years, largest vehicle ever flown in space, and the largest crew. 6 Americans, 4 Russians.
I think we've done a pretty good dry run for the sorts of things that we would need to do with an international space station.
Building an international station is the ultimate goal of a series of shuttle flights to Mir that began with the docking 5 days ago. Among the challenges, learning how to cope with flights measured in months. U.S. astronaut Norm Thagard has been on Mir 110 days, a new American record.
Well, if I could have brought my wife along, I probably would have done that. I think I would have paid a lot more attention to the food that was stored for us on board.
From this day forward, there will be little independence for America's manned space program. The main goal is the building of the international station, and that can be done only with massive Russian help. In effect today, there is one program, flying 2 flags. Scott Pelley at the Johnson Space Center.
Okay, we've been giving him grief for what seems like a month and a half about whether we could see the fireworks tonight. We saw the fireworks tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Checks in the mail, correct?
Right.
Tonight on the Old Weather Show, we have for you more fireworks, skiing, snow, and two little creatures named Stars and Stripes. Weather next.
Also coming up on Eyewitness News, and it says here at 10:47.
The clock setter story.
How President Clinton may step in to save thousands of jobs at a Northern California military base. That at 10:47 exactly.
Bay Area weather, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Appropriately, we begin in our nation's capital, where the celebration of our country's independence was in high gear tonight. Next, we go to the Bay Area. The big San Jose festivities ended just moments ago. Highlights from the grand finale. Next, signs of our celebration of the Declaration in the nation's heartland, too. Farm crop artist Stan Hurd at it again with Mother Liberty in a field of wheat. And the symbol of our freedom, two 8-week-old bald eagles, which were, by the way, hatched at the San Francisco Zoo. They were brought to their new home today on the Santa Catalina Island off the Southern California coastline. Pretty cool digs. Their name, Stars and Stripes. In the Rockies of Colorado, snow, wet but fresh snow on July 4th. 6 inches on the peaks of the Continental Divide. And in California, certainly not fresh, but at least freshly groomed. Gee, I could get into the marketing department of one of those ski resorts. Alpine Meadows and Squaw Valley ended their Mondo ski seasons with a full-on kick-it-out suntan skiing bonanza. Ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding. Back to the weather maps we go. Today's high temperature in Concord, 86 degrees. San Jose, 81. San Francisco, cool spot at 67 degrees. Temperatures tomorrow almost as warm as those we saw today. Big area of high pressure offshore, off towards the Gulf of Alaska. A low pressure center, which is headed our way. Tons of fog coastside tonight. Clear skies inland. Tomorrow we'll start to see a few clouds developing in the northern mountains of our state and in the Sierra. And then by Thursday, we'll start to see cooler weather in the Bay Area as that low pressure cell brings on some colder air from the ocean. And we may see a few isolated showers and thunderstorms popping up in the mountains of Northern California, too. Sunny skies tomorrow, just a partial clearing anticipated. Coastside, kind of like today. 60s at the coast, 70s around the bay. The warmest inland locations tomorrow in the 80s. After that, we'll start to cooler down a little bit, thicken up the fog. Temperatures throughout the area will be in the 70s in the warmest locations Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we'll warm it up again come next week. And by the way, shuttle viewing is over. We keep getting calls. When can we see it again?
Gone.
We saw 5 great nights of shuttle and mirror activity, and now it's over.
Where does it go now, Brian?
It's coming back home.
I see.
How do you learn all that meteorology watching all those reruns of Bonanza? Well, we'll talk about that and try to figure it out.
In a moment.
Don't go away. Find out who are the richest people in the world. 2 Americans are on top of the list.
Also, the groundskeeper who didn't have to fight to keep his job. Others did it for him.
Testimony.
Saw the glove.
The trial.
This is a hostile witness.
The tempers.
He's impeached by his own witness.
I asked if you put a stop to it.
The Bay Area's exclusive source for uncut, unedited O.J. Simpson trial coverage is 95.7 KPIX. Catch up on the coverage all day. Then at 6, go online. Phone us, fax us, or email us with your opinions on the day's proceedings. Hear the difference. 95.7 KPIX.
Thanks for sticking around. Attentive viewers will recall last week we told the story of a man in trouble, but with presumably good connections. The man's a gardener, the connections Junipero Serra, whose statue is along Route 280 in Hillsborough, and whose statue our hero tends. As you watch this one, think two phrases: higher authority and happy ending. Robert Honda's got the story.
For years, the statue of Father Junipero Serra was a landmark to gaze at, but not necessarily a place to stop, even though it was actually a rest stop.
Well, it had a very bad reputation, and we would pass it on the freeway I don't know how many times and say,
But 4 years ago, Jerry Morissette was given the job of cleaning up by a county agency. He found a mess.
There was needles throughout the whole area. There were broken bottles, a lot of condoms, and other apparatuses that we find. Videotapes stuck in the bushes, I don't know why, and dirty magazines all over. We really had to work hard to clean it up.
Jerry did more than that. He became the caretaker, and the place that once scared people away is now a garden.
Well, these are all the grapevines. We're still waiting for grapes. 3 years now. And it's interwoven. Some nice little flowers here that are climbing variety. We come through here. The little old lady brought me these, like I was telling you, small clipping. She brought me little pieces like that much. Now they're big bouquets full.
But recently, Caltrans sent Jerry an eviction notice because the ambulance he often sleeps in, the flowers, and his pet dogs were technically violations of Caltrans policy. An avalanche of public support persuaded Caltrans to change its mind.
I sort of have a plan in my head of trying to really make it beautiful for everybody. It's got all my heart and soul in it. I mean, you know, it's like I'm right into the earth.
This Friday, Caltrans officials will be meeting to finalize the terms of the reprieve. Jerry says so far he hasn't seen anything in writing, but he has been assured verbally that everything will be okay. So for the time being, it looks as though that very popular fixture above 280 will be around for a while. No, not that fixture, the other one. In San Mateo County, Robert Honda, Channel 5 Eyewitness News at 10.
And besides complimenting Morissette's work at the rest stop, a spokesman for Caltrans says the public response to their proposal made a big difference.
Funeral services for the youngest of the two Gabor sisters will be held this Friday. Actress Eva Gabor died today in a Los Angeles hospital. You may remember her from the popular TV show Green Acres. In that series, she bid farewell to city life, and she gained a place in TV's pantheon of famous characters. Miss Gabor entered the hospital on June 21st after breaking her hip. She died this morning from respiratory infections. She was 74 years old. And the fight is on tonight at 10:47 to save 11,000 jobs at McClellan Air Force Base near Sacramento. The base has been scheduled for closure by a realignment committee. Its jobs moving to Pennsylvania. However, the New York Times reporting that President Clinton is working on a deal to keep those operations where they are, but under private contracts. And that would allow some people at McClellan to keep their jobs, and other jobs would move to somewhere else in California.
Want to know where your money is? I'm about to tell you. Forbes magazine out tonight with its list of the richest people in the world, and for the first time in quite a while, 2 Americans at the top of that list. Right at the top, Microsoft founder Bill Gates. In the last year, not because of anything he did, but because Microsoft's stock price went way up, Gates' personal fortune jumped $5 billion, from $8.1 billion to $12.9 billion. Investor Warren Buffett, he also had a good year. His income jumped to $10.7 billion. Japanese real estate magnate Yoshiaki Tsusumi, who held the top spot for the last 8 years, fell to 3rd place. Poor guy. He's tied with Swedish businessman Hans Rosling. As for the richest family, that's the heirs of Walmart founder Sam Walton with $23 billion.
And as we mentioned earlier on an earlier program, no women made that list. Not a one.
Neither did anybody sitting here.
No, nor will we ever. Speaking of women, the women did a great job at Wimbledon today. And I was wondering, do you think that the women's tennis is more interesting to watch than the slam and aces that the men serve?
I think it depends on the players you're watching. If you're watching Steffi Graf, always interesting, and if you're watching a player like Andre Agassi, it's always interesting as well. So I think it really depends on the individuals. But as you said, a lot of money being spent, and won today. Steffi Graf she's going for her 6th Wimbledon singles title, and after 5 matches, she's barely even perspired. Graf in the far court has not lost a set while advancing to the semifinals. She dusted Mary Jo Fernandez today, 6-3 and 6-love. Super winner here on match point. Graf last won Wimbledon 2 years ago when she beat Jana Novotná. Those two will meet again this year in the semis. Novotná in the far court put away Kimiko Date 6-2 and 6-3. So all four of the top seeds have reached the semis. Defending champ Conchita Martinez faces Arantxa Sanchez Vicario in the other semi. Before there was Pete Sampras, before there was Stan Smith, and before there was Roscoe Tanner, there was Pancho Gonzalez, the greatest server in tennis history. The two-time winner of the U.S. Open died yesterday of stomach cancer at 67. Pancho will be remembered for that big serve, but also for the charismatic and flashy style of play that paved the way for so many of today's more demonstrative players. Murphy Jensen has earned some notoriety as a wild and crazy doubles player with his brother Luke. Today, Murphy Jensen phoned his family to say he's all right. Jensen missed his mixed doubles match at Wimbledon yesterday, and I gotta believe the ending has yet to be written to this saga. When we return, we'll show you another high-scoring game between the Giants and Reds at Riverfront, and at the Coliseum, the home run ball was the order of the day.
See you later.
High drive, left field. Bonds going back, and this one is out of here.
Yes, it is. Ron Gant's league-leading 19th home run hurt the Giants tonight. But another homer later in the game really did the damage. The Giants did hurt themselves with 3 errors. Steve Scarsoni made 2 of those errors in the first. He throws wildly on this bouncer by Reggie Sanders. Barry Larkins will come in to score. Reds could have had a much bigger rally in the first, but check out Barry Bonds. He grabs this liner by Benito Santiago, fires a strike to the plate to cut down Gant, who failed to slide for some reason. Giants trailed 7-3 after 5, but closed to 7-6 in the 7th. Mark Carrion singles home Robbie Thompson. Carrion and Royce Clayton each had 3 hits. Giants had 12 all told. The Reds had 13, though, and this was the biggest. Pitch hitter Damon Berryhill nails Jose Bautista for this 3-run shot with 2 down in the 7th. This was the backbreaker, the final. Reds 10, Giants 6. So the Giants failed to gain ground on the Rockies. The Astros pounded them and have averaged over 9 runs a game over the last 10 games. The Braves have finally returned to first place in the East after winning their 4th in a row. Florida beat the Pods by 2. The Phils are now tied with the Braves. The Expos shut out the Cards. The Cubs shut out the Mets. Well, at the Coliseum this afternoon, the Brewers had 6 hits. So did the A's. The Brewers had 2 homers. Well, so did the A's. But Oakland made just a little bit better use of its offense. All signs today pointed to a Mark McGwire home run. And he delivered in the first. He crushes a Brian Givens pitch here. 2-run shot is McGwire's 23rd homer of the year. That ties Mo Vaughn for the Major League lead. Mac leads everyone with 58 RBIs. You won't see many double plays better than this one. Geronimo Baroa jolts one down the line. That's Jeff Cirillo with an excellent stop. He fires to Fernando Vina for one. Vina makes a super pivot for the double play. Here's the A's answer. McGwire, off a liner by Cirillo, turns it into an unassisted double play. Now with 2 on, 2 down in the bottom of the 8th, Terry Steinbach unloads on a Mike Ignatiak curveball. Home run number 9 for Steinbach. The A's win it 5-3. At Jacobs Field today, Carlos Baerga, Jim Tomei, and Ruben Amaro each homered for Cleveland in the 6-run 4th inning against Texas. That gives Cleveland an even 100 homers in only 62 games this season. Now, to put that into perspective, Cleveland's on a pace to hit 232 homers in this 144-game season. Now, if this were a full 162-game schedule, that would project to 261 homers. You get the picture. They're doing pretty good. Texas still won today's game, however. More than 61,000 at Anaheim were rewarded by the Angels. A couple of wild ones on this next page. The Tigers needed 1 in the 9th to beat the Mariners, and Jose Canseco's 4th homer of the year helped the Red Sox over the Royals. George Steinbrenner turned 64 today, and his team gave him a 4-1 win over Chicago, and the Twins beat the O's. And happy 4th of July.
Mark McGwire is really hot now, and he must be happy.
And when he hits them, there's no doubt. They're gone. You know, it's not one of those maybe. It's gone.
It's gone. All right, and we're gone.
All right.
Isn't that? Did you have a good 4th of July? We hope so. That is it for Eyewitness News at 10. I'm Marcia Brandwynne.
I'm Bill Schechner. Our next news is at 5:30 tomorrow morning. If you're up early, catch it. We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a great day. Bye.